Okay guys, hello everyone. In this video I want to talk about this beautiful concept car KRAINA that we did with a great team of Ukrainian guys. So I will make a quick tour, let's say behind the scene, and I will try to show not only, let's say, modeling stuff, but also like design process that we did. Basically, this project was done remotely. So we were in different cities in different countries, and our connection was via chat and video calls and regular calls and just usual messaging. We commit to this project. We did it a lot of time, so we spent on it almost half a year or maybe more, and it was a lot of job was done here, so I will make a quick tour on it. Okay, so the idea was to create this great coupe of shooting brake, of course, and all was started from, let me show you the sketches and the model from the beginning. So this was first, really first sketch, on top of which I did this great model. This was really first steps in our design process. Let me organize some stuff here. So then, after this and couple of steps to somehow catching the volume of this side and catching proportions. So for proportions, I just took Tesla model M, I think it is, just for basic dimensions. Then I built this really rough volume, but as you can see, I tried to build up the highlights right away, to sculpt it, even in this super simple, you can see, super simple form. See, this is my super technique for this kind of really rough models. See, you don't need to build a lot on top of it to achieve this kind of volume, just to sculpt CVs and surface here, just to catch proportions and everything else. Then we decided to change it to more aggressive coupe look, and decided to do it on the and use as a reference this Mazda concept. So as you can see, it was different A-pillar touchdown, the silhouette, the wheelbase mostly the same because I scaled the reference photo on this wheelbase, but as you can see, the A-pillar touchdown and the whole silhouette of the car was changed according to this sketch. Then it was small changes here. I end up with this model, yeah, and sent it to our chat. So it was on the beginning of this project was three of us. It was Anton, who lived in Kiev at the time. It was Max Shkinder, who lived in London, and me, who lived in Zagreb, Croatia. And when I end up with this model, I send it in our chat, and Anton and Max did a lot of, not a lot, but they did a sketch on top of it. So you should understand, especially if you new to this design process, that it's never one iteration. It's always so many tries, and I wouldn't say errors, but so many tries when you can see what working and what doesn't, and you choose the best solution. And it's never from the first touch, never. So Anton, on top of this one, he did a lot of sketches that some of them we took some ideas from these sketches, but basically this one we choose as a main theme. It was done by Max. So all this, as you can see by style, was done by Anton. And this one was done by Max Shkinder. This is, as you can see, my model. This is sketch. So the task of this sketch is not only show the design, as you can see here, but also create it in orthographic views for me, for modeler, so I can easily build my model on top of this. So I can use it as a reference, as a blueprint, put it in the Alias, and use it to sculpt and model. So, and this is really professional level of the sketches, because really often when you communicate with a designer on some feedback, you're expecting some feedback, really often designer can give you like sketching perspective like this, without any orthographic views or lines or anything like this. And it's really hard to catch the right proportions, right volume from perspective. And when you get this kind of sketches, it's much more easier. So we accept this one as a main theme. We liked it a lot, all of us. All decisions was made by voting. So it was 3 of us. It was never even. So it was easy to choose. We vote for this one and continue with this guy. So this is first tries to implement this sketch here. I tried to build basic volumes, basic surfaces to blend up, to blend the wheel arches, to catch highlights. How I did this one, you can see it was pure sculpting. This is the blend between two surfaces. So first one is simple to align with wheel arch here. Try to catch this line by intersection, not by naked natural edge projection, but by intersection. And this crazy volume, basically, you see how I did it, just pure sculpting. And then after this, I did a lot of trim convert actions to clean it, to sculpted back into one clean surface. So as you can see at the end, here for example, at the very end, here is only two clean, nice surfaces without any blend, so they with curvature continuity between each other, and the touches on the wheel arch is really good. Okay, we can go here. Next, we discuss a lot of things regarding the roof, as you can see, regarding C-pillar. It was a lot of discussion regarding taillights. You will see it later. Regarding the side, that was biggest discussion was regarding the side. We tried a lot of stuff, and it was very hard to model something fresh, something unique. It's so many cars out there with different volumes on the side, and everything that obvious, it was done by someone already. So we tried a lot to catch something unusual and fresh and interesting, and something that will work here. So this is actually wheel disc iterations. This is concept for front light graphic. You see how many things we tried here before we start to model, and yeah, there's many cool things here. More disc iterations. Okay, for discs, just to keep model on the ground and to see stands and everything. Usually I am downloading some basic stuff from GrabCAD and using it. I have not modeled these discs for first time, but later, of course, when we have when we finish in the model and for final renders, of course we should make the original discs, and we did a lot of iterations on this, and finally we end up with what we have here. This was one of our try, and we end up with this one, as you can see. And the whole time, this is my how to say, not technique, but I love to do this when we developing the project. I'm always changing the colors in the alias, always, as you can see. It's easy to see this, that every time the colors are different. It's because I like to feel and to see which colors more suits to this car. And you can see from these renders also that I tried a lot. Let me show you. So it was gray, yellow, this bluish. This one I like a lot also. I used it on my BMW. And it's really hard, especially when you're doing post-production in Photoshop. With only one slide, you can ruin your color on the paint. I mean, not ruin, but change it. So, for example, this violet color. Only small slides in Photoshop, it changes to blue or to black or something. So, and what's hard is to be consistent, to keep it from render to render, even, yeah. So this is different front light variations and front bumper designs, and at the end we end up with this one. The hardest thing with this bumper was this transition from these guys to this edge, and from this guy, from this big soft fillets, big soft volume, to this edge, from modeling point of view. It was not from design point of view, of course. And what else? The crazy stuff was with this pattern. We tried a lot. We got rid of a lot of ideas just on the ideation stage, because no one know how to implement this in 3D. And this is how discussion was going. We tried to do this pattern. This is I used RHINO for this. This is first option. This is second. This we discussing how it should work in 3D. The section of it just in the chat, just with the usual tools. Sometimes it was done by a finger in iPhone, just to understand how it works. And yeah, we tried a lot, and one of the options that we did with the pattern was, let me show you. Let me find this picture. So many of them. Yeah, it was this one. See, it's just really regular Boolean operation of triangles from the surface. Of course, we have this scaling, incremental scaling, but otherwise it's nothing interesting here. And I came up with the idea, of course it was me, who else, with this treatment when it's not just a basic cutout or Boolean operation or extrusion, and it's actually rectangular shape of the surface that intersect with this triangle on the surface. So, and it creates this nice pattern here. So I can quickly show you how I did this. Let me open RHINO file. 1 second. Yeah, so it was done in RHINO because RHINO works really well with this kind of operations. So it was done, the surface itself, the pattern was done in Alias. Then I bring it here. I did it on a flat surface with this reference. See, this is our body side, this is our character line, and this on top of it, we have our pattern. So I did all these triangles and intersect them with the surface, trim them all on the flat surface first. So in this way I have more precision and more controllable environment for my pattern. And then I use this follow tool to translate all these triangles to this banded surface, and it picks up all the coordinates from this surface and translate it here. As you can see, it adds spans here just to increase resolution, let's say, of this surface to fit properly this surface. So at the end you have really good tolerance here, and you actually can work later on the put in radius here or something else. See, you can go even more. So yeah, and RHINO is really good with this kind of stuff, but not Alias, unfortunately, or I just don't know how to do it there. So yeah, this was done in RHINO, and it was done in few stages. So this one was the first. Then I add the fillets here and here, and it was second iteration to adopt this pattern to avoid this fillet, this blend surface that goes inside there. See? So then it was remodeled again, and here also, as soon as I create these blends here, see, I had to remodel everything there. Let's go maybe to the front. So we tried to put pattern on the front also. So this is how it looks. Let me show you quickly. We tried a lot of things there. This was done in RHINO also, because to try this just on sketch, you will never understand how it works. And I did these tries in RHINO. We tried to balance it with the volumes, this what we had, and nothing worked here. We tried different things. Nothing worked, so we decided to keep it just a black thing with texture. What else was interesting here? Actually, this one is interesting from my perspective, because it's not interesting, it was my lazy job here. There was few ways to model this transition here. One way was, let's say, right way and hard in the same time, to make this nice soft, or not soft but nice clean transition, and that goes under there. And another one, easy one, I just put this in CATIA, make this thickness here, and create radius there. It's so easy doing this, and it's even not curvature, it's tangent, but you will never notice it, because here I add curvature already. Here it's tangent, and somewhere here I have transition to curvature, and it looks really nice, especially on renders. Regarding the highlights here, I always try to keep, so it's not only lines, creases and silhouettes that should work, with as a design here. Yeah, it's always volumes and highlights also. So as you can see, the first iterations on the side, first iterations of the model, the highlights not following the edges of the shoulder. It really works good on the side crease, on the side character line, this volume, but not with the shoulder. And this volume was, how to say, we used it long time, and we thought it's okay like it is, and something was not okay, and only later I understood that all highlights here should follow the main lines, the character, the shoulder line, the side line also. And I end up with the, you see, when we add more definition to the side, more this tricky volumes here, somehow this good transition with the wheel arch, nice and clean, somehow your laziness telling you that it's okay to keep it. More or less the side surface is good, it's clean, the highlight is straight, it's not waving, not acing anywhere, so you can keep it. But at the end I decided to fix it, and you see I received at the time the corrections from Anton, who changed the silhouettes, who changed the section of the rear, etc., etc. So I should remodel it anyway, and I decided to straighten these highlights. And as you can see, because of this, I lose some of speed of highlights here on the rear wheel arch, and it's always question how good you controlling your volumes. Can you change it to what you want? And I wanted to change the speed of the highlight to make it more fast, to make this point more sharp. So at the end, as you can see, we end up with this highlight that is more faster than previous one. And in modeling, it's always, you always have areas when you can't control it fully, and then it's matter of designer or design to dictate, to define how it should work. Should this highlight be fast, or should it be slow? How it should behave? And sometimes some areas you really can't control, and you can't control not only volume with highlights, but sometimes like you just have engineering package that you should avoid, and you have no anything to propose in this situation. So yeah, and sometimes it's really so I had a lot of, not a lot, but few cases when my laziness and my stubbornness, let's say, avoiding me to see that it's actually possible. And only with time, when we have discussion with designer and he asked me, like, can you just try? And I said, of course, okay, I will try. And I try once, second time, third time, and on third time I understand that actually it's possible, and I need just spend more time on this area, for example. And at the end, yeah, it was actually possible, and I did it. So, but sometimes you can spend half a day, you can spend a day, and you will never achieve some results because Sketch just doesn't work in 3D. So should be prepared with this. Okay, so one thing is this on the rear wheel arch that I mentioned is the highlights also should have design in it. Should be under your control. So, and this highlight should be, let's say, should behave as you want, not just happened because you put blend in it and it's like it is. You should sculpt it until you will achieve highlight that you want. And my personal view on this, I like symmetry along the axis of the wheel. When highlights goes in the wheel arch and goes out with the symmetry. You can see this triangle here. Here it's different. It's different just because the volume, and here I didn't achieve this speed, and yeah, this is the biggest how to say question that I asking myself: should I did this highlight speedy also or not? I like this one, how it works now, but I think I can do it more faster and faster like this. And I'm always asking myself, should I did this before? But anyway, yeah. And one more thing here is this silhouette, this edge of the rear. So as you can see, before it was obvious that, yeah, that shoulder and the rear wheel arch has its volume, and the C-pillar has its volume with the roof, and the transition from the C-pillar to the rear wheel arch has this negative surface, and it was somehow inevitable to have this step here. But later we actually was managed to get rid of this step. You see, we kept it long time until we saw that with this already treatment we are really close to one line here, and I tried to take advantage on this, and actually I was managed to get rid of this step and to create only one clean line here, and we were really happy with this solution. It was really nice thing to do. Okay, let me show you more images. Maybe well, okay, I will quickly can show you the wheels, the whole, all these iterations we did, we tried, we discuss. Wheels almost always not so interesting as the car itself, but you always need to do wheels also. Somehow it's must do. Only some projects you can take, like if you model, for example, I don't know, some Porsche, you can take a Porsche disc and don't bother with it. So this is so many designs, proposals was done just to find some cool solutions here. Yeah. What else? tail light. It was few designs, and we end up with this. We end up with this solution, but also try to define it even more, not just a simple line, simple curve, or simple surface. And yeah, rear lights was done in RHINO also. This is, you can see, architecture of it. So when I'm doing the lights, I'm always thinking in terms of render, because the main purpose of this model was render at the first place. So you always should think how it will look like on the render. And it's so easy to I mean, it's not so easy, but what you want to achieve from the rear light, from any light, you want depth. For this you should build this, actually. You should build this depth. You should build the volume inside, you should build thicknesses of the housing, you should build thickness of the main the housing glass, let's say. And yeah, it's not required to model the light source, because texture is almost always enough. You should see how can you achieve more definition, more detailing in this design by adding textures, not the geometry. Sometimes textures don't work. For example, if I would take this stripe and put just the transparency, you will never see the thickness of these walls. Transparency doesn't work like this. So this one I had to model just to achieve the thickness here, but it makes the difference at the end. It really works. So I can show you the result with this one. Not actually really good. This one also. So yeah, I will show you the rear one later. This one also works good. So here you can see I add only the bump stripes here, and it already works as it has, this plastic has thickness and everything. Okay, let me find the rear in a good shape. No, this one, no. I saw it somewhere, but anyway, I think this one for now is the best. Maybe this. No. Yeah, see? You see the light source there, you see how it works. I add again texture of the small bump on top of the chrome inside the glass, and it gives this super cool reflections on the glass here. So yeah, it's a lot of things that you can do with textures, not with geometry, so you shouldn't actually model it. And the thickness of the glass gives you these highlights on the render, these depths, when you can read thickness of the glass. Okay, let's go maybe to something else, like maybe front light. Front light was also, we had a lot of ideations on this. We end up with this kind of treatment here, and it was actually modeled. See how many details was there. It was done also, was done in RHINO and Alias, I did it with Anton. He not only designer, he's also really good modeler, and we did with him this model of the front light. This is how it looks as a test render. I did my proposal for this. I thought the small lights as a stripe are really good, and I modeled this lights elements. So idea behind this, it was some light source that here the package is here, and they shooting light here on the mirror, reflecting, and goes 90 degree on this lens and then hitting the road. And yeah, as you can see, I really like this glass and gold combination. I use it in every project. I really like it, yeah. And I really like this design also. But again, we vote and decided to not use it. It was really, I mean, I agree, it's too small for this kind of car, this kind of front, but somehow I liked it. Yeah, we end up with these guys, and this guy is much more interesting for sure. Yeah, it was done a lot of test renders. That's actually really cool also, and we didn't post it. Tried to keep the theme of this release more homogeneous, let's say. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to say more. Yeah, you see, I even tried to model it. So this light element shoots on the mirror, then from the mirror goes to the lens and goes back. I thought it will be some views when I can actually catch it on the camera, this detailing, but there was no space for it. So see, I tried to make this package in here, and yeah, anyway, sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, what else can I show you? Let me... I don't know. I think that's it. So if you have questions, I can give you more info, I think, on this project. I think guys also can give you some answers if you have questions for them. For now, that's it. Thank you for your time. I hope it was interesting, and see you.